yesterday we have written this program where we got the data through an accept statement and we put the data into a table. But what I want to do is change this program a small way so that I get the data from a file and put the data into the table.
Okay.
Let's copy the program. I'm explaining the same thing so that you get a time for your software setup and you can come to till here. Instead of going a new program and new logic and confuse you, let's use the same program, same logic, everything, just a small change in the program style. So once your software is set by tomorrow, after you download, just ping me. We'll set up your software and then you can
Okay.
use it for coming till here.
Okay.
So we now need a file for input purpose. Select claim in file, assign to claim DD1. Organization is sequential. Access mode is and file status is. For these file concepts, we should be very clear on these steps. There should not be any new things on the file. So everything is already one only. So we know how to go step by step when a file is required. Label records and the structure we need. So I'll get the structure from below. This is my structure here. So this is now acting as input. So let's, here is my file and the corresponding layout. Length of the file 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 55. So total length is 55 is what I need to take. End of input, no, it's now end of file, but will change all inputs to we need our initial para key perform 100 initial para to 100 exit. We'll move these two fellows from here and we'll put it in the initial para here. Now we have the paragraph started here. Let's open the file. Open input purpose claim in file. If WS in status not equal, then display error in initial para 100 para display file open error status WS in status. We will know what is the problem.
Okay.
Exit statement. So we now open the file 100 exit, and after that we would like to get the first record from the file. So instead of accepting, we're gonna now read the claim in file is a 10. We're gonna say to close the loop, move yes to the end of file. Then set the status is not required anything here. We will get only one row from here. After that, we are asking the system to go and do the process para until end of file. So once the control comes back, we can say close claim in file, stop the process here, get the para, process para. Process para remains same. If the claim amount is greater than 0, I would like to go and insert the record into the table. If it is not the and greater than 0, so go and get the next record.
Okay.
From this file. check and process, get next record, check and process, get next record. As long as you have the records, this process will go on. As and when you will be end of the records from the input file, the program will exit.
Okay.
So insert para is remains same. We don't have anything to change here. It is as it is. We just it. You understood the point, right? Step by step.
Yes.
Any doubts in any paragraph?
No.
Now let's go and compile this program. This is all compilation about program 2. In here we got MaxCC 12, so we're gonna change and check them. Let's remove the old ones of the day. Our COBOL compilation MF8 maximum down. It says that status in variable not defined. Yes, we forgot to define this variable. We have defined in the environment but not in the working storage variable. So that's saying that your variable is not defined. So WS status in picture class x of 02 value space. Now this is in place. Let's do the recompilation. SJ submit. OJCL submit. Still a MaxCC 12.
No.
Arc show MF8. It says that an integer 91 was invalid level number for this variable. So obviously again I made a mistake in my code. Maybe in the variable instead of 01 I give 91.
Okay.
So now let's try to recompile one more time. We got 0, that is we got 4, that is fine for us. Now in the earlier story where we told about pre-compilation process, we mentioned that the exec SQL tags will be replaced with the suitable COBOL code. So if you find these tags now after modifying, after the precompile step, if you find the code, you'll be seeing them as commented.
Okay.
Now instead of this copybook in the include statement, that will be coded into your program directly.
Okay.
So if the copybook is in the program, what is the purpose of this line? No use, right?
No.
So that's what we replaced with a comment line. Now in this one, we are using a variable called SQL code, which contains the status of the query execution. Status of the query execution. Whenever I say SQL code, if it is 0, successful. If it is 100, end of the table or end of record not found. Any negative number, they all come under errors. They all come under error part only. Now, apart from this part, okay, apart from this, all the exec statements, okay, the query, if you see observe the query, it's been commented.
Yes.
And replaced with a couple of lines on the call statement. Couple of lines with the call statement. If you take this variable and look for that variable here, this variable contains so many other variables required for execution. Okay, so many other variables required for execution purpose. What is the plist part, call type, what is the program name, what is the timestamp it is running. All these are maintained by the system process only. We don't need to do anything here.
Okay.
That it has been replaced, the calls has been replaced, and if you see here, all the system has captured the column names, host variable names together here. So this entire story will be taken care by the compiler itself. Okay, we are just trying to write a query. and asking the system to run. But when system is trying to compile, it will generate additional code for our program, and it will be used when it is running the queries as part of execution.
Okay.
We have compiled it. Then we need to go for doing a bind here. This is the package what I want to generate. Successful. Okay. For example, let's go and do a mistake here. Let's do and do a mistake here. Now, when you do pre-compilation step, system will not notice the spelling mistakes or incorrectness of your query. It won't notice that. You see, still you got 4.
Yes, I see it. It still gives 4. Why?
Because that pre-compiler is not the responsible for SQL code.
Okay.
It is responsible for splitting the code.
Okay.
Then once the split is happening, COBOL goes with the COBOL compilation and the DBRM will come here for the process. Okay, when it is separating, it won't check those things. When you are validating the query in the bind process, here you'll be getting the error.
Okay.
If you go and check this one now, here it is. -206, column not found. SQL code -206, column not found.
Okay.
Right, it's not found because obviously it has been misspelled here. Got it?
Yes.
The compilation step, the pre-compilation step, only responsible for replacing the code and using that for compilation.
Okay.
Bind is the place where we use it for compiling the query part, correctness of the query. It will check the query columns and the tables are properly spelled. It will check who is the owner qualifier, what qualifier I should use, who is the owner for it. These things will be discussed in the concept of package creation. Concept of package creation. You got it?
Yes.
Let's go back, correct the query. If you miss a comma, then the pre-compiler will scold us. Check the syntax, but not the correctness of the syntax.
Okay.
I guess my changes properly now. Here we expect as 4 as it is. Bind package we should be expecting to be coming as 0. And generate the plan. For the execution part, okay, for the execution part, IBM user dot print out all db2 j2 j2. So in here, refresh. In here, the program name and the plan name has been changed. All I need to do is the input is from the file. For this JCL, my input is from the file actually. So I need a file input. I can write claim dd01 dd.dsn equal to IBM user dot name in this is equal to share. But as such, we don't have that file. We don't have this file. Let's create that one. 0.2 file of IBM user dot claim in. Name of the file is done. It's a PS file.
Okay.
Record length 55. PS file.
Okay.
IBM user dot star claim in file. So here we need to give claim record 9 numbers, customer name 10 characters, amount 5 characters, and what is the next one we have? Mm, Then we have type, status, date. So type 6 status and 1 2 21 08 20. If you see the last numbers are returning to sequence number, then you type unnum. Then it will help you us here like this. So we have now some number of records here: 81, 82, 83, 84, 86, 87, 88, 89, and 90. So this is my input data now. I would like to use this file as input and run the job. The intention is to see all these records go into the table. Intention is to see all the records go into the table directly. So that's a file name, and we can go and check one time what's the existing data in the table. So select star. As of now, there are 5 rows of these values. We are inserting the other 10 more rows from the program. System has to read one record from the file and put that row into the table. As long as there are records in the file, so long it has to put it in the table and come out.
Okay.
We see it is successful here. Let's run the query one more time. Select star, and I can see all the rows here. You got it?
Yes.
Now let's make small change of mistake here and try to run it one more time. In here, the data should be as usually the way how the system is expecting. Okay. The column constraint wise. So if you have any data, like let's say the third record, doing in a wrong way. Okay, the third record, since we have a issue with the unique key, we cannot insert these records same way because that is the duplicates. These are duplicates. So we'll change the numbers. We now have no duplicates, but there is a third record that is having a problem. Okay.
Okay.
02. Remember 02. Okay.
Okay.
Testing and testing. We'll assume that that's the one we have completed. So we will run it. So the expectation here is it should fail. On the third row, it should fail, right?
Yes.
Because we have an invalid date. The date is within a year, a month. A month cannot exceed 12 days, 12 months. And I gave a wrong date of 2021, 021, 21 like this. So obviously it's a wrong date. What system should avoid? So let's see whether it is failing or not in the first case. We got maxis is 12, so we're gonna assume that it failed. So we'll check what is the failure reason. Question mark. Sysout. It says -818. -818. J is -1.
Okay.
J is -1. So this is a known number only, which is invalid date. Invalid data time format. That's fine. That's fine. That's what the record we got on the display also.
Okay.
After processing 2 records, the third record is what we got the error. So our program displays are working perfectly. Okay. You are in a project, you are developing a code, your errors, when there is an error, when there is your process is failing, you should have a good enough of displays to point out what's the error, where the error, and what's the causing the error.
Okay.
So we know where the error is happening. We know what is the reason of error. We know the
Yes.
record that is causing the error as well.
Yes.
Now, if we don't have these three, it will be taking much time to understand what is the problem first of all.
Okay.
We doesn't know the whole program, we can't check. It will be big in the projects. We can't
Okay.
check any particular way. We cannot assume what was the error without number. We cannot assume what is the issue.
Right. So it's always good to code the errors in there.
Right. If you don't know any number also, even if you say, suppose I told that minus 818, this is what number I told you. At least if
Yes.
you know this number, okay, at least if you know this number, and we can ask the Google to provide what is that number is. It says in returns information of statement, that's fine. It's an error code. Over here, SQL codes, SQL status. Are it there? No, wrong site. Okay, so this looks promising for us. So here it is. You can see it, right?
Yeah, I can see it. Yeah.
String representation of date, time, timestamp is invalid.
Yeah.
So this is how you
Can
can
you
remember.
copy that link and post another note for me, please?
Yep, I am doing that.
So that I can have it to
Yep.
review it later.
We will have it anyway in our class, but I'll help you
Okay.
here itself today only.
Okay.
Not so in a proper way, but let it be like that.
Okay.
So we'll be discussing them anyway, but let it be as of now so that you can use it for your errors.
Okay.
So we are in here now where we say that there is a problem of 180, which is a date invalid case. So when there is a date invalid, obviously we will not able to run the query and put the records into the program. Okay. So if it is SQL code 0, okay, if it is SQL code 0, then it is successful. Other than that, we'll consider them as errors or some mistakes. Okay.
Okay.
Now the point I want to also show you here is the error is on the third record, right?
Yes.
What happened to the first two records? Did they went into the table or they just left out? The table here. Let's take the table F3, enter. Are we seeing those testing records?
Yeah.
Are you seeing any testing records that we inputted?
No. 89, 90. Yeah.
No, these are all pending records.
Yes.
We inputted some other data. These two records.
The testing, yeah.
The testing records, right?
Yes.
So these testing records we are not seeing anywhere in this particular table. These are the first run records. These are all first run records. Second time when the job got failed, it did not enter those two records in here.
Right.
Now, if you go back to our very introduction class, there are something called commit and rollback.
Yeah, when you commit, then it goes through. If you don't commit, it won't go through. It won't be it won't go through the table. It won't be registered to the table. And the rollback is just,
now,
you know, if you made a commit.
Right. Your answer is right, but not the answer is in English actually. Your answer is in English.
Okay.
We want the answer to be in DB2, right?
DB2, yeah.
Language.
Okay.
So if somebody asks me what is a commit, I would say that the changes will be saved on a DB2 table.
Okay.
You understanding?
Yes.
In here, in that point only, what we need to notice here is if your process, either it would be a job or it would be a tool or if it is even a JCL, whatever the process you are running the query, and that is making some changes. And if the process is completely successful, then system will do the commit of those changes.
Okay.
But if the process contains any failure, if the process goes with a failure, then system will do a auto rollback. So rollback in the sense revert the changes. Revert the changes to last committed record only. So when our process ran, this one got inserted actually, this one got also inserted, but this one got failed. So there is a failure in the process. System performed a auto rollback, revert the changes of these two.
Okay.
You understood?
Yes.
Changes will be affected successfully, then it will commit. The changes that got affected will be rolled back in case of failure. Clear?
Okay.
We'll add one point to your easiness. So in here, let's say after successful, we'll write a commit. We should not do it. Okay, I'm just giving for our understanding only. Now what I'm telling the system is if it is successful, commit the changes. If the record got inserted, save it. That's what I'm telling. Okay. So let's compile. Then do the bind. And there is a JCL. So now, okay, as per the expectation, first record, second record should be inserted and committed as well. Okay. Third record, we should be ending with the failure. Okay.
Okay.
Let's start. We got failure as expected.
Yes.
But we need to see whether the two records got into the table this time or not. So run a select query and enter. So these are the two fellows.
Okay. Yeah, testing.
Testing records came, right?
Yes.
Now, if this is our situation, okay, this is our situation in the project. We corrected the error record, let's say. If I run it like this directly now, okay, if I run it directly, what happens? I corrected the error record and now executing the second time now. What happens?
You'll get an error because the other two tables have already been.
So what happens?
You'll get an error because the other two table will have duplicate if you don't change it.
Excellent. Excellent. Ending up with an error. We ending up with an error in the run, and that specific error is the duplicate one. So here it is. L J K L minus 803. Right?
Right.
So here it is 803. Trying to insert duplicate record.
Yeah.
Now, if this is the case, we are in project. What we do is generally, we need to remove those records which are got processed. Okay.
Okay.
But you remember our JCL class, right? About the procs. There also we mentioned this thing to edit the job and a proc also. But here I'm not able to delete these records. What is the reason? I cannot delete them. I want to delete them, but I'm not able to delete in here. What is the reason?
Because you're browsing.
Now you told the same answer on the JSL topic also. You told the same thing on the JSL proc concept also, that you are in browse mode and you cannot edit. Of course I know that, but that's not the answer actually.
Okay.
The answer is, this is a production file. Assumption here is, this is a production file. Can I go and edit production file as I wish?
No, you cannot edit production file as that.
Right. So obviously I cannot use this file as input because the first two records got processed.
Yes.
Also, I cannot delete these records because this is a production file. So if you go back to our production situation, now assume that I am in the production situation. I cannot edit any of these files. Okay. IBM user.fanta is all my production files. Assume like that.
Okay.
So we cannot edit it, but there is a job that got failed and waiting for rerun. Okay.
Okay.
To this case, we as a support person don't believe that to be having edit access anywhere. We don't need also. What I need is only the copy access. See, copy to another data set. So I am telling that I don't have access to all Fanta data sets, right? So I'll be using some my name over here for just generic for our case.
Okay.
Assuming that this is my personal file now. So just enter data set got copied. And dot star claim in. Okay. These are other old records. Okay, forget about them. So I guess 1 minute. It has used my old file and overlapped it.
Okay.
My testing files has been overlapped here. I don't need these files anywhere. Let's go back to the Fanta file again. Try again for one more time. Okay. First thing is my mistake only. It's my old data set's been using there. Okay.
Okay.
Now it is asking for creating a new one. Yes, please create. Then go to the personal file of mine. And here I would like to remove these two fellows here. I can edit it here because this is my file. Okay.
Okay.
Now I need to use this file as my input to your job, right?
Right.
So let's go to the job. Let's go to the job and try to replace here. I'm not able to replace here. What's the reason? What's the reason that I'm not able to replace the file here?
You cannot replace it because it's in production, right?
Yes. So these are not mine accessible data sets.
Yeah.
This is a production job. If I edit here, tomorrow it will run with my data set.
Yes.
Actually, we cannot edit it, so the second thing will never happen. But in my situation, I should rerun the process with my file, right?
Yes.
So, like I told you in the other topic, you'll be having your scheduler job copies, which would be like this. Here I can edit. Am I editing my production data set? This is the production data set and this is the job. So I'm not editing specifically the production data set.
Right, you just okay.
Copy of it. We are editing a copy of it, right?
Yes.
That's the thing what happens in the project also. Same thing. Very simple thing. You just need to notice what is the approach is. The solution is to remove the record and replace the file. But what is the way of approaching to that solution? Shall we edit the production data sets? No, not possible. So how? I'm telling that if you are using any scheduler tool, you'll be having a copy of those jobs. Use those copies, you have edit access to them, you can do anything with them that will not affect your production code. Replace the file with the unprocessed records. Replace the file with unprocessed records. Two of the records got removed, right? Let's run it now and see whether this time it goes with success or failure. So it says successful, but don't believe that.
Okay.
Don't believe that. Job is always a not so reliable one. Job is not always a reliable one. Data is the one final thing that you have to check. Go to the Spoofy tool, run the query, and you need to notice after those testing records, there are some other new records from our file. Okay, all you need to do is go to your input file. Okay, go to your input file, take the record, one of the record, and find it like this.
Okay.
If this is not the case, if that is not the way that you want to do it, write a where condition here, where claim underscore number is equal to this record I want to find. One of the record from the file, it could be any record. Okay, just random check whether the records are entered into the table or not. So we got that record entered into the table. So that completes our process. Close the request that came for the append and provide the fix, give the solution details. You need to provide the solution details in the ticket so that tomorrow when I come and see the similar issue, I will go back and check what was your solution you performed. I can repeat that easily.
Okay.
And the other day, okay, let's say today I have solved it and tomorrow you are getting this similar issue. Okay, today I solved it. Tomorrow you are getting a similar issue. In support, okay, in support, we are not heroes. Okay, we won't do anything new there. We want to clear the issue. That is our target, not to be any very intelligent to prove anything. There is no one or nothing to prove in the project there. If I'm at your place tomorrow, first thing I'll do is I will check if this kind of issue came earlier before or not.
Okay.
I will not, generally my skills will be different, but if it is, I'm very new to the projects, I'm very observable as of now only. I'm not into much of the takeover of the project. So in such cases, I will just go and check if this kind of issue of ticket came before. I'll check in the tool, I'll give it the job name, I'll give the append code and try to figure out if this issue came before or not.
Okay.
Luckily, if there is a similar issue came, then I will check the solution what they have followed for that one. So I'll get the solution. Okay, then I won't implement the solution. I'll verify the situation there. Okay, we will verify that the situation what the solution we are seeing from the previous case and the situation what we got today with the job failure, is it similar situation, a bad record came or not? If both are matching, then we'll follow that solution as it is, no problem. But if that is not matching, if the solutions are not matching, if the situation is not matching, or you are not finding any previous such case of events, then you need to come with your analytical skills. Okay. That's the time where you need to place yourself, go to the job, check which step got appended, why it appended, is it a DB2 issue, is a non-DB2 issue, did I need to check the file problem, or do I need to check the DB2 problem, or did I need to check the data problem, logic problem? Based on your approach, you will be finding one step at a time.
Okay.
But easy thing is, most of the cases, Either the system or the data will be the culprits.
Okay.
Not the program. Not the program. Don't come to the program and scold it.
Okay.
Because we have written a program. Okay, like we discussed already this point, I'm going to repeat again. If you have written a program today, will it go to production directly? We do a test, right?
Yes. Yes.
We'll perform a couple of tests, good and bad data, both will test it, right?
Right.
Then somebody will review it, somebody will check it. Somebody will give the comments whether you have written a proper code or a wrong code.
Yeah.
If there is any missing, he will help us, he or she will be helping us to add that point. Then our lead of our management team, they may get involved, they may also see it. After all these things, people get approvals, user will act doing his runs, he will check the data. After this whole process, the code will be going into the production.
Okay.
Now, this particular program is running for last 10 or 20 years. Today, if it fails, will you go and scold the program?
No.
No, it will be very harsh on that program because I've been running so long for 20 years. Today, one day I failed and you're scolding me.
No. Right.
What's gonna change every day is the data.
Okay.
You got some data yesterday will not be same data today.
Right.
You processed already yesterday's data. Today, why you'll get the same data again?
Right.
So, the one which is getting changed is data, and the one which will be always dynamic is the system.
Okay.
You get a space append, let's say. Space append is because of the system constraint, right? The space allocation.
Yes.
So obviously the system is the culprit, not the program not able to write it.
Okay.
And we got like 180, 181 invalid date.
Yes.
Program is no longer anywhere pointed, right?
Right.
So when you are in the issue, when you get an append, your first thing is to see and scold the data and the system. Those are the first two culprits we have to check. But if a user come and complain that my data is not showing correctly, okay?
Okay.
So far, the culprit of data and the system is when the job fails by itself. But when a user comes and tell you that my data is not showing correct values, then we need to go and ask the program, did you do anything wrong? The program says, the way you coded, I behaved that way in the same way.
Okay.
The way you coded me, I have behaving in the same way for a long time. So if you have coded me wrong, then I'm doing wrong. You understanding?
Yes.
When a data issue comes from the user end, your process is not getting failed, but the data is getting wrong. That means somewhere the logic is not set for that record properly.
Right.
Where maybe the record itself was wrong. The user might be wrong always, first of all. If a user comes, okay, in our project, online projects, the user comes and say that this data is not present, that data is not correct. The first question we'll ask him, are you correct first of all? Are you seeing issue for only one record or all the records?
Okay.
If it is only for one record, then the system is not having any problem, first of all. If this process, the design is wrong, it will be affecting every record, not just one record. Okay. But the user says that if user come and says that I'm finding this issue with multiple records, that is the catch point. One record, not our issue. It's a fluke, it went away somewhere like that. But there are multiple records getting wrong. There is some glitch in our program. That's where the maintenance team like us will analyze it. We'll figure out what is the root cause of that issue. Is there any additional conditions or additional move statements or additional calculations to be added to the code and make it perfect? Because 20 years back, the business concepts were different. Now the business concept is different.
Okay.
The program which was written at that particular business rules and regulations and the business rules that got changed till today may not be applied in the program, somehow missed away.
Right.
Maybe the people did not tell us, or maybe the programmer did not code it properly. Whatever it is, if there is a data issue, if it is a process events, then it is the system or data is coming wrong. But if it is data is going out wrongly, then your program is the culprit. So we will trace back where the program is having the data logic and where it is getting the wrong values into the process. So you need to know the steps, you need to know whom you should go and talk to and why you need to talk to them.
Okay.
So take this point, download those files, whatever I have given to you. Once that is done, your daytime, this is your daytime what you are having. So in the your evening time, just give a ping for me once your download is completed. 1 hour I find my time, we'll sit together for 10-15 minutes. Then your software is ready to use.
Okay. All right. I'll download it.
Right. So I'll share you this notepad which we have with the course. This is your course. And I will also share you the, what is I want to share you, the program.
Okay.
You have the program, right?
Yes.
Also, I'll share it with you. We have a table and 2 programs with you now on the pending list. Browse. Okay, last class done for the day. Next will be on tomorrow's class. Tomorrow, no class. It's a Sunday for me.
Okay, yeah.
This will help you to get the program, and this will help you to get the job. So the input file you need to prepare.
Okay.
Use that from here. So these 2 fellows, 2 blocks. Okay.
Thank you.
Right. See you then Monday.
Bye.